So in today's episode of doing things that I really don't feel like doing, I'm going to be changing the alternator on my E46 BMW back here. I had a weird voltage drop. My battery's not showing the right voltage, it's a little low, so the first suspect is always the alternator. I took a look at the alternator and it was a cheap one from an auto parts store. The last owner must have had a cheap one put on or whatever. I ran the part number, I saw what it was, and they had a 120 amp one on there. I wanted to get a Bosch on here. And this is a 150 amp alternator. I have a sound system in the car, I have lights in the car, lights under the car, lights in front of the car. So I wanted to get something on there that I could trust. So, Bosch alternator. The alternators on your BMW, some of them have cooling vents, some of them have oval connectors, some of them have rectangle connectors. I've had this oval connector with no cooling vent on all three of my E46s so far. But, if you don't know what you got to figure it out. And if you remove the two 10 millimeters holding your air filter box in and disconnect that, you can see your alternator right there. And there's the plug on the back side. I know it's dark in here, but if you can't see it, you get you a flashlight and a mirror and you can find out which alternator you have. So mine's got the oval connector, so I'm going to be swapping that out. So I got y'all set up where hopefully y'all can see what I'm doing. I got a light here and I got my fan behind me. You saw me take my air box out. My battery's disconnected already. Let me get this out of the way. So take your air intake just off and get it out of the way. Unhook this. It's just snapped in there, and I'm gonna loosen the fan shroud. I got another one of those clips here, the plastic ones. I got a trim tool with me, so pull that out, and there's a T25 over here, so I'm gonna get the T25 out. That's a T25 Torx. I will try and fast forward through this. Now, I'm not going to be able to get that off because it's below the fan. I've got to get my fan removal tool. So get you this fan nut tool. You got an automatic and you're going to be working on your car a lot, this is really great. You got your nuts that hold your fan on by your water pump down there, and you'll be able to take the end of this, put it around the nuts, and then use the 32 millimeter on this end and unscrew the fan. And I just did it a little bit ago off camera because I've never taken this one off before, so it was on there really tight. But now you can unscrew it. It's screwed in reverse threaded. So I'm going to take that off. And with that off, you can get it. Oop, you got another electrical connector over here. Let me get this fan out of the way. There's another electrical connector on this side, just kind of sitting inside the fan shroud. So that's the one that was just in there. This was across the top, that was in here. Fan shroud's out the way. Had to stop for a bit, my wife's home from work. But anyway, I got me a T50 here, and I'm gonna take a T50, and my dust covers are missing, but I'm gonna put a T50 inside my tensioner here and here, and I'm gonna take both belts off because I got brand new belts I'm gonna put on the car. So, brand new belts, brand new alternator. With your T50, you can slide it in there, and I got it backwards. Well, with your T50 put in your tensioner, you could loosen your belt and take it off, and I'm going to need two hands to do that. So I'm going to take both belts off, and I'll see y'all when I'm done. So the belts are off and they look pretty good, so I kept them. You know, I never know when I'm gonna need them. But to get the alternator off, there's a bolt that's hiding down there. It's a 16 millimeter, so I'll put the deep socket on so you can see it. 16 millimeter or 5/8. 16 millimeter also holds this pulley on, which I'm gonna change also. But I gotta get this 17 millimeter, it's the power wire. I gotta get the 17 millimeter off, not with a deep socket, and unhook this electrical connector right here. And it's dark in here so you can't see. I'll show you on the new one. The electrical connector got to unplug, the power wire got to unhook, and these are the bolts that are holding it on. There. It's actually going to be facing like this. It's hard to hold it still. My battery died while doing that, but that was power wire from the 17 millimeter power wire. This is 16 millimeter in the front. This is going to take that pulley off also, and I'm also going to replace that. We're going to maintenance. All bolts. Gear extension. Just wanted to show you, this is the alternator I took off, this is the one I'm putting on. Mine has an oval connector. Some of them have rectangle connectors. All three of my E46s have always had oval connectors. So I don't know why some of them have rectangle connectors and some of them have a cooling duct on them. None of mine have ever had the cooling duct. So take a look at what alternator you got before you just go and buy one. You might have a rectangle connector, you might have a cooling duct on yours. But you take a look in there, you could usually see it from the side. And you'll be able to see what kind of connector goes on yours. My power wire is my connector. And there's my bolts and the pulley. I hope I got y'all set up in a good position. Let's see if I can drop this in on first try. Got it. Take that long bolt. Back in there. I just got that bolt started. I'm going to get this bolt started up top. I got a new pulley coming on the way, a new idler pulley. I don't have it today, but I'm going to put my car back together so I can drive it around this weekend because I don't know when my pulley's going to get here. So I'm going to change that maybe next week, and I won't film it, but if you're taking your car apart, changing your alternator, you ought to change this too. Maybe even your tensioner. Change your belts. It's a good time to change everything while you're in there. So. Let me show y'all something too. There's a groove in the idler pulley. If it focuses, that groove, once you tighten this up, it'll fit. Kind of hard to see, but it fits right there, and it can't fit any other way. I wish it would focus. down there. See how it's fitting? See that little knot right there? That knot fits in that groove. And it won't fit any other way. So once you get the bolts tight, that's it. The two 16mm bolts in the front are back tight. I'm going to put the connector back in. Y'all probably can't see me. The electrical connector is now attached, and I'm going to hook this power wire up. Power wire is hooked up. And we'll take the 17mm nut and put it right back on there. Holds it down. Now I just got to put my new belts on. And what I like to do is take a picture of the belts before I take them off so I can remember how they went on. But I'm going to get a picture of a diagram and stick it up here so that y'all can see how it goes back on. But let me put the belts back on. It's going to take me 2 hands to hold the tensioner down and get the belt back wrapped around. You have to put this belt on first and then this belt on second because it goes in front of it on your wheel back here. Not enough light, but yeah, you got 2 belts. I'm going to put them on. Belts are back on, new belts. On my old 325, I actually cut the bottom of the fan shroud off because I took it on and off so many times. It just made it so much easier. I'm not going to do that right now, but it definitely makes the job easier to cut the bottom of the fan shroud off. Get it on there. There it goes. It's reverse threaded, so you really don't have to go crazy on tightening that. I gotta put this push pin in right here. Make sure that sits back here, it's in the right place. Put those screws in. Little plastic push pin on this side. Really, this one's unnecessary, but I'll put it back in the car. There it is. And the 25mm on this side. I go walk away and grab tools. Don't forget to put the 2 electrical connectors back. This just sits in here. Nothing special. And this one just kind of snaps in here. You'll feel it. It just goes in. See, it's in. Just like that. In place, back in place. Now I want to put the air box back on. I'm done. I could have been using this the whole time, I forgot about it. Oh, you're gonna have this. That's tight. Hook the battery back up, and we are done. There it is, brand new 150 amp Bosch alternator on the car. Everything's running smoothly. I'm ready to ride. That didn't even take that long, and I've been doing so much other stuff around the house too, so 30-minute job, 45-minute job, pretty easy. There it is, let's ride.